Imagine a powerful force that can simultaneously scorch cities, turn fertile lands into deserts, and drown entire neighborhoods under relentless rain. This is not a scene from a dystopian future, it's the reality of El Niño. A phenomenon that reoccurs every few years, El Niño has the power to disrupt global weather patterns, devastate economies, and transform ecosystems. But what if the next El Niño, expected in 2025, turns out to be the most severe we've ever experienced? Are we prepared to face the upheaval it could bring? Or are we standing on the brink of a disaster that could redefine our relationship with the planet? Have you ever wondered what's up there that we can't see? I'm Umbra and I'll reveal it all. Keep watching. To understand why 2025 could be so critical, we first need to unravel the mystery of El Niño. At its core, El Niño is a climate pattern caused by the warming of surface waters in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean. This warming disrupts the balance of atmospheric and oceanic systems, triggering a chain reaction of extreme weather events worldwide. Historically, El Niño has been responsible for droughts in some regions, floods in others, and economic turmoil across the globe. While it's a natural phenomenon, the stakes are higher now than ever before. As global temperatures rise due to human-induced climate change, El Niño's impacts are growing more intense and widespread, putting ecosystems and societies under immense pressure. What makes 2025 so alarming? Meteorologists and climate scientists are closely monitoring the Pacific Ocean, where water temperatures are rising at an unprecedented rate. This rapid warming is setting the stage for what could be one of the most powerful El Niño events in recorded history. The consequences of such an event would be felt worldwide, from sweltering heat waves and devastating droughts to torrential rains and catastrophic flooding. If predictions hold true, the coming El Niño could mark a turning point in the way we experience and respond to climate-related disasters. One of the first and most visible effects of El Niño is the spike in global temperatures. During an El Niño year, warmer ocean waters release additional heat into the atmosphere, causing temperatures to soar. In 2025, this could mean record-breaking heat waves that stretch across continents. Imagine cities like New Delhi, Paris, and Los Angeles grappling with heat so intense that outdoor activity becomes dangerous. Vulnerable populations, the elderly, children, and those with pre-existing health conditions would be at significant risk. Hospitals could be overwhelmed with heat-related illnesses, and power grids might falter under the strain of skyrocketing energy demand for air conditioning. In tropical regions, the situation could be even worse. Agriculture, the backbone of many economies, would face immense challenges. Crops like rice, maize, and wheat, which thrive under specific temperature and moisture conditions, could fail. This would lead to food shortages, soaring prices, and widespread hunger, affecting millions of lives. While some regions swelter under the sun, others will be inundated with rain. El Niño is notorious for creating weather extremes, and 2025 could see some of the most dramatic contrasts yet. In South America, particularly in countries like Brazil and Argentina, droughts could dry up rivers and reservoirs, leaving communities without access to clean water. Farmers, already grappling with unpredictable weather patterns, might watch their fields turn to dust, threatening livelihoods and food security. On the other hand, regions like East Africa and parts of the United States could face relentless rainfall. Floodwaters could submerge neighborhoods, forcing families to evacuate and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The cost of rebuilding homes, infrastructure, and entire communities would run into billions of dollars, straining national budgets and insurance systems. Wildfires are another devastating consequence of El Niño's extreme weather patterns. As droughts intensify and temperatures soar, forests become tinderboxes, waiting for a single spark to ignite catastrophic blazes. In 2025, experts fear that regions like California, Australia, and the Mediterranean could face one of the worst wildfire seasons in history. These fires wouldn't just destroy landscapes and homes, they'd also displace thousands of people, devastate wildlife, and release massive amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The carbon emissions from these fires would further exacerbate global warming, creating a vicious cycle that feeds into future climate disruptions. But El Niño's reach extends far beyond the land. The oceans, too, bear the brunt of this phenomenon. Warmer waters in the Pacific disrupt marine ecosystems, forcing fish to migrate away from their traditional habitats. This has dire consequences for fishing industries and coastal communities that depend on marine resources for their livelihoods. Coral reefs, already under threat from rising ocean temperatures, could suffer further bleaching and degradation, threatening biodiversity and the balance of oceanic ecosystems. The cascading effects of these changes highlight the interconnectedness of our planet's systems and the far-reaching impact of El Niño. As we look ahead to 2025, scientists and policymakers are racing against time to mitigate the damage. Advanced satellite technologies and climate models are providing more accurate predictions of where and when El Niño's effects will be most severe. This data is crucial for governments and communities to prepare. In flood-prone regions, investments in infrastructure like levees, drainage systems, and flood barriers are being prioritized. In areas at risk of drought, water conservation initiatives and emergency stockpiling measures are being implemented. Yet, despite these efforts, the sheer scale of El Niño's potential impact could overwhelm even the most prepared nations. The burden of El Niño's wrath will not be shared equally. Vulnerable populations, including coastal towns, smallholder farmers, and low-income families, are at the greatest risk. These communities often lack the resources to adapt to or recover from climate-related disasters. Humanitarian organizations are stepping up their efforts to provide relief, but the challenges are immense. Reaching remote or conflict-affected areas poses significant logistical hurdles, and resources are already stretched thin. Ensuring that aid reaches those who need it most will require coordinated international efforts and unprecedented levels of solidarity. For individuals, the enormity of El Niño's impacts may feel overwhelming. However, collective action can make a meaningful difference. Communities can implement local initiatives such as planting trees to combat desertification, conserving water to prepare for droughts, and participating in disaster preparedness programs. Education and awareness are also crucial. By understanding the science behind El Niño and its potential effects, people can take informed steps to protect themselves and their communities. Every small action, when multiplied across millions of individuals, can contribute to building resilience. El Niño's impending arrival in 2025 also serves as a stark reminder of the broader issue at hand: climate change. Rising global temperatures are amplifying the intensity and frequency of El Niño events, turning what was once a periodic disruption into a more frequent and severe crisis. Addressing this requires urgent and coordinated global action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, transition to renewable energy, and adopt sustainable practices. The choices we make today will determine not only how we weather the next El Niño, but also the long-term future of our planet. Amid the challenges, there is hope in innovation. Scientists and engineers are developing adaptive solutions to help humanity coexist with a changing climate. Floating farms, drought-resistant crops, and renewable energy technologies are just a few examples of how we can adapt to a world shaped by El Niño and climate change. Scaling these solutions will require significant investment, political will, and public support. Governments must prioritize funding for research and development, while businesses and communities must embrace these innovations to create a more resilient future. Economic resilience is another critical component of preparedness. Governments will need to allocate funds for disaster relief, rebuild affected areas, and stabilize economies rocked by El Niño's disruptions. Businesses must take steps to ensure the resilience of their supply chains and adopt sustainable practices that minimize environmental impact. Insurance companies, too, have a role to play, developing models to cover climate-related risks. However, making these solutions affordable and accessible to vulnerable communities will be a major challenge. The environmental impacts of El Niño go far beyond its immediate effects. Droughts, floods, and wildfires can cause long-term degradation of ecosystems, reducing their ability to recover. Forests lost to wildfires may take decades to regrow, while coral reefs damaged by warm waters might never fully recover. Biodiversity loss is another alarming consequence, as species struggle to adapt to rapid environmental changes. These cascading effects underscore the urgency of taking action to protect our planet's fragile ecosystems. As we prepare for 2025, one thing becomes clear: no country, community, or individual can face El Niño alone. Global solidarity is essential to sharing resources, knowledge, and strategies. International organizations like the United Nations play a pivotal role in coordinating responses, while grassroots movements empower communities to take local action. The question is whether we can rise above political divisions and prioritize the collective good. The events of 2025 could serve as a turning point in humanity's relationship with the planet. Will we emerge from this crisis with a renewed commitment to sustainability and resilience? Or will we continue down a path of environmental neglect, leaving future generations to face even greater challenges? El Niño is more than just a natural phenomenon. It's a wake-up call, urging us to rethink how we interact with the Earth's systems. As the waves rise, the winds howl, and the fires rage, one thing is certain. The story of 2025 will be written by how we respond to El Niño's challenge. Will we stand by as spectators, or will we take bold, decisive steps to protect our homes, our communities, and our future? The choice is ours, but the window for action is closing fast. The time to act is now. The urgency to address El Niño's impacts goes hand in hand with broader global priorities. This is not just a fight against a natural phenomenon. It's a call to address systemic issues like climate inequality, resource scarcity, and unsustainable practices. As we step into 2025, humanity has an opportunity to redefine its trajectory, transforming challenges into opportunities and leveraging innovation to create a safer, more resilient world. The actions we take today will resonate for generations to come.